Guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ike MMA podcast. I'm joined in the studio today with Mr. Joshua Nakagawa. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
You did, man. You did. A lot better
And
than most, actually.
oh, good, good. I will definitely remember that. Um, and he's going to be fighting. Is it in? No, yes, early March. At Cage Warriors 149 against Blake Perry.
Yes, that is correct. March 3rd, I believe.
So look, how are you feeling and how's fight camp going and just how are you feeling in the run up to the fight? How's the training? How's the weight cut coming along?
Everything is on schedule. I'm peaking like cardio wise and fitness wise. I'm peaking at the right time. My weight's where it should be. And I've been extremely disciplined, more so than in my past few fights. And I just feel good, man. I'm in a good headspace. I'm not stressed out this camp. I did everything right, and I'm extremely confident going into this fight. I feel great.
No, that is good. Um, you know, I just want to make sure I don't ask anything that's too awkward or anything that is maybe say like random or silly, but just in your other fights that you fought that we competed for in the past, what does it feel like as in just and getting prepared? Not just the weight cut or nutrition or just the typical sparring in the gym with your teammates. Mentally, what does that feel like just in the run up to the fight? Also thinking that there's an extra pressure with a crowd also watching you as well.
Um, it gets better with time. You have to factor in that I had my first boxing match when I was like 12 or 13, and I had a decent amateur boxing and kickboxing career. So no doubt, anxiety and doubt still creeps in, but it gets better with time. It was my first Cage Warriors was the largest show I've fought in, the most eyes on it, first time being on Fight Pass, stuff like that. When I fought Jamie Lynch, cool dude, he's also fighting on this card, another Sandiego guy.
Oh,
Um, the anxiety and like that was nerve-wracking, but there was also there was some other factors in that. I wasn't very disciplined. I fell back into some bad habits during the pandemic. I was partying a lot, so I was really doubting myself, and that was a bit of a mind fuck, excuse my language, but there are a lot of external factors, and that's not taking anything away from his win.
yeah.
He's a great fighter. It was just mentally going into that one, that was pretty bad. And then I fought again. I'm on a 2 fight skid right now. I'm actually 2-2 as a pro right now. I lost my last two, but going into the fight with Devin, I went into it feeling a lot better mentally. I still wasn't as disciplined or working as hard as I should have been going into the camp. And again, that's not taking anything away from his win. That's just how the cookie crumbled. But I guess just after experiencing like what it's like being in like a very professional organization like Cage Warriors with cameras on you, a big crowd, it was a lot easier going into it the second time. And this time, a fight's never easy. There's always nerves involved, but I feel great, man. I'm pretty much at the point where if I'm not in the gym or on a run, I'm not thinking about this guy. I'm just going about my life, focusing on what I can control. And then when I'm in the gym, that's when I start thinking about how this fight's going to play out. But I'm not letting it take up too much of my mental energy, not letting it rent too much space in my head, man. Just staying happy, living a good life this camp.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It's also very refreshing to hear. I mean, maybe it's because I've never actually been in a fight, which might be in a controlled environment, but there's also the added pressure of being watched by many people who want to see you win. Of course, there'll be other people that who want to see you lose. They want to see the other guy win. Um, I've got to say that I would still be full of nerves still. But I guess you're right. Something that the more you do it, the more used you get to it. I suppose so.
Yeah, and I used to place a lot of pressure on myself with other people's expectations, like, oh, like are these people still gonna be my friends if I lose? Are they gonna like me? Blah blah blah. And honestly, like how uh how much like is it a big deal if I swear? Can I just talk how I usually
Yeah, look,
talk?
I was gonna tell you, look, say anything like the foul language. I mean, I don't swear that
I'm not
much
gonna get
myself, but
excessive or like offensive, but like I credit you
No,
there,
no,
but like, okay, cool.
no,
So
cool.
a lot of the pressure I've placed on myself in the
Yeah,
past has been like putting other people's expectations of myself on me. Like, oh, what if I don't live up to their expectations? Are people still gonna like me or like think highly of me if I don't like if I don't perform well, if I don't do well in this fight? But I'm at a point where I'm like happy enough with myself and at peace with myself enough to like I don't give a fuck. Like I don't know. I'm not doing this
no,
for them. Like
yes,
I'm
yeah,
fighting because I genuinely enjoy martial arts. Like Cage Warriors is a good show that could lead to other opportunities, but I'm just enjoying the moment. I'm doing this shit because I enjoy it. And like if somebody's opinion of me or like the way they treat me changes because of a win or a loss, then like fuck that person. I don't give a fuck. I don't want them in my life. But no, so I guess what I'm saying is yeah, I have pressured myself out because of other people's expectations of me in the past, but now it's just like I'm doing it because I enjoy it. It makes me happy, and I just love the challenge, and I love the growth that takes place in these fight camps. Like you grow as a human being, mentally,
yeah.
physically, spiritually, and like I really love it. I love the challenge, and if you're gonna switch up on me based on the results of a fight, like I just wish you did it a long time ago, and I didn't waste any time being friends with you.
Yeah. No, of course. You kind of bring something else to mind. So I'm assuming from what you told me that you've had the experience whereby as you're progressing through your mixed martial arts career, you've won lots of fights where you've had success. You've, let's say, gained some friends and probably some other people who might not be on the same similar path as you. They get envious or they say, God, you're spending too much time in the gym, you're spending too much time doing this or that. And gradually they just you stop hearing from them. They just break off all contact completely.
Um, yeah, man, I'm not gonna get too deep into it just because you never know who's gonna end up watching this, but I've definitely seen envy come up, a lot of insecure people out there, and it's damaged some close relationships to me. But at the end of the day, like it is what it is. It wasn't totally envy. I also played a part in like these falling outs, but I've definitely seen envy come into play, and it's human nature. It's just I'm guilty of it too. I can get envious at times, but fortunately, I've grown up enough to where I don't let myself lash out at another person. Like, yeah, there's gonna be a second where I'm like, oh fuck this guy. He doesn't deserve that. That should be mine. That's human nature. You're gonna feel that, but I kill that thought dead in its tracks and I move on and I don't treat people I try not to treat people different. But yeah, I've seen people get weird, and especially dealing with fighters, we're all a bunch of head cases. Some of us hide it better than others, but we're all kind of fucking weird mentally. That's why we fight. If we were females, we'd be strippers.
That was really
Bro, if I had boobs, I would be dancing on a fucking pole getting dollars thrown at me.
that is weird. Um, so I mean, sometimes when you come to the much more formal individuals that are involved with you because of things such as your people, such as your managers, your agents, even affiliates or sponsors or individuals that represent sponsors and brands with you, if they see you're not getting the wins in as much as you can, they kind of just disassociate themselves from you entirely. I mean, or more or less, let's be much more interesting where they stab you in the back, kind of, do they?
Um, I don't take it personal, man. I'm honestly going into this with the least amount of sponsors I've had as a pro, but I'm on a 2 fight skid. You get what the fuck you get. Like, I didn't, if I was winning and it dropped me, I would get it, but like, it is what it is, dude. Like, I'm on a 2 fight skid. I wouldn't fucking sponsor me. I'm a businessman. Be like, do I really want to give this guy free money, free product, whatever, if he's not performing well? Like, no, it's a bit like, I don't take it personal. And my manager's cool. Like he does give a shit. I do take pride in representing Wolf Sports MMA, but he's still getting me fights and he's cool. He's a very good manager. But as far as the sponsors go, I'm going into this with less sponsors, but I honestly feel like I deserve less sponsor. Like after I get a good win in Cage Warriors this next fight, I expect my sponsorship opportunities to increase. But yeah, I mean, you get what you get. I'm not sad about it. I see exactly where I stand. I'm 2-2 as a pro. I'm on a 2 fight skid. I get it.
I ask this question to every combat sports athlete and every person associated with the sports one way or the other. for you yourself, how did you as in your love, your passion for the sport to get yourself involved to this extent where you're competing professionally? Where did that start?
Um, if you want to go like early on, watching
Mhm.
pro wrestling when I was 5 years old with my grandpa, like, oh, I want to be a pro wrestler. And I'm actually from Hawaii. So kids out there get into a lot of street fights, and just like fighting and martial arts is a part of our culture. Then when I was 12, there was a boxing gym down the road from my house. And I just wanted to go down there to like learn how to throw punches so I could like get into street fights or whatever, but zero ambitions of competing. But then I just fell in love, and then that was where my boxing career started. And then when I was in 8th grade, I got into a fist fight with one of my like best friends, and he ended up taking me down and kind of whipping my ass. So that summer, I was like, Dad, like I want to learn jujitsu. And then I did jujitsu that summer. Then my freshman year in high school, I wrestled. And like, so my love affair with boxing started, and striking, boxing, and kickboxing started just out of curiosity. Just wanted to learn how to throw some punches and kicks. And then I got beat up. So I was like, oh, fuck, I should probably learn how to grapple. So uh, I started learning how to grapple, and then I did decent as an amateur. And then, yeah, shit went kind of south when I turned 18. And I couldn't fight for a couple years, but I got back into it at 22 and went pro at I think like 27.
And was there no again, was there no concerns maybe for your health? I mean, I do get that you said in Hawaii where you come from that the lots of the kids they do get into low street fights. I mean, there was no concern for things like your health. Say if you would take a serious severe blow to the head, or probably if you broken an arm or an ankle.
Um, no, not really. Like, I feel like maybe if my mom died when I was a little kid, maybe if she was around, she would have been worried. But my dad was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you want to fight, fight. And I also got into a lot of trouble. Like, I had a drug problem. I ended up incarcerated as a teenager. So, like, compared to the other shit I was doing, fighting was relatively safe. So they're like, fuck
Mhm.
it. I'd rather have you, like, fucking fully immersed in this than whatever else you're doing. So, one, I had a, I didn't really have that like female parental figure in my life who would have been worried. My dad was like, fuck it, yeah, fight. And two, I got myself into so much shit that like fighting was the safer option.
Okay. So actually, this was very, very good 4 years, and if not for this, the story would have turned out a lot worse
It
compared to
was
yeah.
still pretty bad at times, but yes, it's always been like my rock, my salvation. Like I deal with some pretty bad substance abuse issues. I'm coming up on a year of complete sobriety from
Okay,
alcohol and other
good.
substances, just complete total sobriety. But fighting's always what helped me reel it back in. Like when I would get way too out there on whatever I was doing at the time, like I'd be like, dude, I just need to get back in the gym. And it was a way to center myself. And it's kind of become like the rock in my life.
So, currently you compete within the welterweight division, or
I
for
go back and forth between welterweight and 55. I'm a pretty small welterweight.
so if you were to move, let's say, from Cage Warriors to, let's say, if they, as in, if the UFC, if they want to sign you up, would you be happy to compete in any other weight division, or you'll be happy to stay as you are? Because another thing I wanted to ask you is about the weight cuts and the things that I hear, things that I've seen. Weight cutting can be so severe on the body. Some athletes have actually fainted, or other nasty
There's been
things have happened.
fatalities, people have died. Honestly, I'm against it. I'm an undersized welterweight. Like I think my opponent's like 6'3", I'm 5'10". But I mean, at the end of the day, we're both gonna weigh in at 170 pounds within 24 hours of the fight, so I can live with it. But I'm not a fan of drastic weight cuts. I've made 55 twice. It's extremely taxing on the body, and yeah, if the money's right and it's like Bellator, UFC, PFL, I'll go back down to 55. But it's definitely a lengthy process, and I'm gonna do it a lot differently. Like I used to just go on these like crash diets and cut like 35, 40 pounds, and I'm already fairly in shape and lean. But if I ever do go back down to 55, it's gonna be after like 6 months to a year of dieting. It's like a complete like lifestyle overhaul. It's not just a fight camp. It's like I have to eat, sleep, and shit like an athlete. 170, I can still live a fairly normal life out of camp and make weight. I'm not gonna say relative ease, but safely. But if I'm ever going back down to 55, it means I'm on a solid career. Like my career's on a solid trajectory, and I've been disciplined for like 6 months. Like it's a lifestyle. It's not a fight camp diet. It's you're gonna change your entire lifestyle to make for me making 55.
Weight cuts, weight cuts, weight cuts. For you yourself, as in when it comes to the making weight for the fight, so let's say cutting weight, as in how do you know would you typically go about that? Is it to reduce your calories drastically, lots of faster cardio and training, saunas, as in how do you know would you normally go about that in preparation for the competition?
Long term, like when you start like being like, okay, I'm gonna start getting ready for a fight. I'm gonna have my manager reach out to some promotions. It's just diet and volume of training, and then as you get closer, it's just tapering off the calories, upping your volume of training, and then there's a whole process that goes into the water cut, water loading, carbohydrate, and sodium manipulation, and just sweating it out.
Hmm,
I feel like
yeah.
everybody's method is pretty similar. There's a lot of information out there. I hired a coach, Coach Tyler Wellen. So there's a lot of information out there about it, and we all kind of do it the same way, man. It's carbohydrate, sodium, and water manipulation towards the end.
I d- um I do well, I want to get your opinion on this story because it's just been going it just is something I won't let up from the last weekend of fights. The UFC 284. Um Now do you in your own opinion, who do you think I've not asked you, but I've got a feeling you might give me an obvious
It's about
answer.
Volk.
Who do you think won that fight?
Volk, dude. I also look at it from a martial artist standpoint where it's like I respect the hunger, I respect the fire, I respect the drive, like I respect that dog in him. So
Mhm.
from that point, yeah, I felt like Volk won, and he was the smaller guy. He did get taken down and out wrestled for a second, but like, okay, they give points for control, right? When you're holding somebody down. Makashev got punched in his face more than Volk did when he had Volk's back in that body triangle.
Yeah,
So I feel
yeah.
like that kind of mitigated the control of whether it was the third or the fourth round, whatever that round was where Volk just or Makashev stayed on his back. I really felt Volk won, or I felt like Volk could have won that fight, or it could have been a draw, but I wasn't surprised that they gave it to Makashev. I mean, like he won on points, but I felt like Volk won the fight. Like he pressed
Yeah,
him, he
yeah.
took the bigger guy down, he dropped him, he grounded pounded him. Like the look on Makashev's face when he was like in bottom guard, like nobody's made those Dagestani dudes look that human. Like he was the first one. Like it was like, oh god, these guys are like the Terminator. They're like machines. But like Volk went out there, took him down, dropped him, beat him up, and like I just remember like very vividly the look on Islam's face. Like nobody's done that to those Dagestani guys. So yeah, I really felt like Volk won.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you just said there, especially with what happened with them both on the ground by the fence. I mean, I was surprised Volk didn't even tap. So I think that just gives testament to how much of a fight that the guy put up, and it was a shock to see what the judges actually scored and how the win went the other way.
Yeah, that was a weird one, man. That definitely showed some of the all right, bye. That definitely showed some of the flaws in MMA judging. It's an imperfect system for sure.
You know, I have to also say, the UFC. Well, let me ask you this: you do look like quite a marketable fighter, and also obviously very talented. Also, which of the bigger promotions, if the opportunity came, were to arise, would you go to? I mean, again, there's the obvious on the UFC, but there's also Bellator, PFL, One Championship, and other promotions out there. But I mean, for you
I really
yourself,
want to go to Ryzen, man. I'm half Japanese. I'm from Hawaii. They're getting a bunch of Hawaiian fighters into Ryzen right now. And that would be a dream come true. It would remind me of the Pride era, fighting in a ring in front of the Japanese fans, soccer kicks and stomps. Like, I would love to go to Ryzen. And as far as the rest of the organizations you mentioned, my answer is the highest bidder. I don't give a fuck. I want money.
That's no, that's actually smart because at the end of the day, when you've passed, I mean, you can't cheat Father Time. So
No,
it,
I'm 31, dude. I'm in the last 5 years of my career. I'm aware of that every day. I'm at the point where I'm not even trying to be a world champion, dude. I just want to hit the big stages because that's what I set out to do.
Mm.
Fight a couple of times, make some good money. Who knows? Maybe if I go do well enough, fight for a world title. That's cool, but that's not even like, dude, I'm 31 and I'm 2-2. I'm not out here fucking blowing smoke up my own ass. I do know I'm capable of the big shows. I do know I'm have the talent, but I don't know. I'm 31. I'm not stupid.
yeah, but what you said before, that was a smart stance because you have to think ahead and you're not going to be fasting forever, and you also need to look after yourself. And I do know that well, I can't say for sure, but I'm not sure how much is it health insurance or so that most of the fighters have over there in the US. But I think once you've finished fighting and your contract's expired, one with the other, but I think you got to start paying for your own healthcare, isn't it?
Yeah, honestly, I don't. I mean, I'm at the regional level, bro. I'm not making a whole lot of money. Again, right now it's a labor of love. Um, but yeah, like I said, bro, it's a business. Like, if somebody's gonna offer me more money, it doesn't really matter what logo's on my shorts. Like, show me the money, show me my opponent.
So March 3rd against Blake Perry. How do you see that fight going? As in, what can we expect to see from me in the octagon?
Um, I honestly don't really want to get into this too much, but I see myself winning, man. I'm gonna go out there. I'm going out there in the best headspace I've ever went into a fight, the hardest I've ever worked, the best training partners. And just for the sake of not giving away too much information or getting disrespectful, I don't even really want to talk about it, man. Like, he's a tough fighter.
Okay.
He's gonna come forward. We're gonna fucking go for it. But I do see myself winning.
Uh,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say, man. I don't, even though we're about to fight, like, there's no need for me to talk a bunch of shit right now. I don't need to offend anybody. Like, we're gonna say what we gotta say when we see each other on March 3rd, and we're gonna say it with our hands. But yeah, this is a winnable fight. I'm gonna win this fight. I see myself winning. Like, I'm going into this with a good headspace. But at the end of the day, I don't have a whole lot to say, man.
Okay. All right. Okay. Last three questions, and these are about the other big fights we've got coming up. The Ultimate Fighter 31, Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. They're going to do the Ultimate Fighter season 31, coaching all the new and up and coming fighters. But after that, their own fight. Who have you got?
Depends on which Connor we get. Like, if we get like disciplined, no, seriously, if we get
Ah,
disciplined, hungry, like
mm,
fucking martial artist Connor, probably Connor.
mm.
But honestly, I that's a tough one. I don't really know because, bro, all that stuff I said, it depends on what Connor we get. You always get the same Chandler, and I don't mean that in a bad way, like a one-trick pony. You always get a fucking dog who's in shape and trying to kill you. So honestly, I would probably have to, like, if I had to like put mental odds on this, I'm like 60% Chandler, 40% Connor. Reason being is if the right Connor shows up, he can win. But like Michael Chandler always fucking shows up. So it's a I don't know, man. My MMA math has never been very good, dude.
Okay, this is going to be a big one. Because I probably can't get the other guy out of his head now. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya.
Ooh. If Izzy would wrestle, dude, I don't again, bro, I'm probably like I don't really bet too much on fights unless it's like a friendly bet. I don't really have too many picks. But if Izzy goes out there and stands with him, he's gonna get knocked out again. He's got Izzy's number striking wise. I like yeah, he rocked him with that left hook, but like, dude, you're like 0-2 in kickboxing, lost an MMA fight to him to strikes. But dude, if Izzy goes out there and wrestles, like But his wrestling and like grappling didn't look that good. I hope he doesn't see this and whip my ass one day. But like, I'm just saying, like, dude, he like, no offense, man, but I don't know. I feel like Izzy could have a much better ground game than him if he would be offensive with his wrestling and take him down.
And lastly, they could say this: is anyone taking it that seriously? But I'll ask anyway. Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. It looks like this time around the fight may just actually happen.
Oh my god. Fuck. I don't know, man. Tommy's not Tyson, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Tommy's not Tyson, so I'm probably gonna go with Jake Paul, dude. He seems like
Mm,
he's not very disciplined. He seems like he pulls out of a lot of fights. And he doesn't take it very seriously. Like, as much as I hate to say this, because like I think the guy's kind of a joke. Like I remember watching him on Disney Channel. I'm like fucking weird ass cut, like just doing a bunch of weird ass shit. But like, bro, Jake Paul takes fighting seriously. And yeah, he's not fighting boxers. He's fighting retired MMA fighters, but he's fighting some dangerous dudes. Like he fought an old Anderson Silva and a Woodley, but like I wouldn't want to fight an old Anderson Silva or a Woodley. Like I would if the price was right, but like he's got balls. He's taking fights against dangerous opponents and he takes it seriously. And I think Tommy Fury is more of just like a playboy. I don't know anything about him, but the amount he pulls out and the amount of work he's not putting in kind of just seems like he's living off his brother's name and he's going out there for a paycheck. But again, I don't know that much about this situation.
you've heard recently that the WBC have made it official. So, well,
I
they
did.
said
I saw that
you
like
saw
today that
that.
they're gonna rank Jake Paul after this fight.
Yeah, so I mean, I made a post about it on my Instagram. I said this. In my opinion, it changes everything as far as Jake Paul's concerned because if he's ranked, I suppose he now does have some let me say some status and clout now within combat sports, especially boxing. If he's going to be ranked, as for Tommy Fury, well, I said, look, Tommy Fury now has been used as a stepping stone for Jake Paul to increase his rank, his clout in boxing and combat sports.
Um, that's gonna that's gonna look very poorly on Tommy's legacy, but that's just a
Yeah.
part of the sport, man. It's just like some people are in and some people are in the way. Like there's a
Mm.
lot of journeymen out there for a reason, and it could very well happen that he's a building block in Jake's legacy, or Tommy could live up to the Fury name and beat Jake's ass.
Yeah, no, you made some really good points there, some stuff to think about. Look,
How
last
serious? I feel
sorry.
like I've been doing a lot of talking. I'd like to ask you some questions. How seriously do you feel like Tommy Fury takes fighting?
Um, look, when I heard about the matchup, this is way back last year, and Tommy Fury had to pull out because I think he said he went to the airport to fly to the US, and then he was this is the excuse he gave anyway. They told everybody then for one thing reason or another, they barred him from entering the US. But later on, it transpired that his family had been receiving funding from an Irish gangster, an Irish criminal syndicate family. I can't remember their names off the top of my
I
head.
know who you're talking about though. Like Conor McGregor shouted out that guy. Like he's like a fucking gangster. Like I know who. Fuck, I can't think of his name, but I do.
Neither can I.
And he's like Fury's boy too. Or yeah, well, obviously we're talking about Fury, but like McCanahan or something. I know who you're talking about, dude.
That's probably that's probably it. But I'd
I
have
don't
to
think it's
check.
exactly that, but I know it's that Irish gangster who's like he just got picked up by Interpol or he's wanted by Interpol. I know exactly who you're talking about. I just
Mm.
can't put a name to it.
You might be right, but I have to cross check that. But um, okay, Tommy Fury. The reason why I said that I thought at the time that this would be actually be a proper match for Jake Paul is, and you know, yeah, he does look like a pretty boy, like a playboy. That's someone who's concerned about his looks and everything, whatever. But I think he's more evenly matched to Jake Paul in terms of age. A lot of the opponents that Jake Paul and his brother
Okay.
Logan Paul have competed against before in the past, they're all at least past the age of 40, late 30s, the most, but they're
Out
all
of their
retired.
athletic prime for sure.
Yes. But this guy is still very in his prime. I think he's mid to late 20s, so I think he's much more evenly matched to Jake Paul, which is why I thought in my own eyes, this will now be a proper test for Jake Paul, we will see what he's really made of. And if he does win, then there's not going to be like a shock. He's actually going to be ranked. So, he's actually, I think the people who are running the game will now, there's proof that they take him seriously. So let's just wait and see what happens. Let's just wait and see if the fight itself actually goes ahead, because that was a problem last time.
Yeah. If not, I'm not mad at the alternate, dude. I would love to see Mike Perry get in there and fight Jake Paul. Did you hear
Oh
about that?
yeah.
That Mike Perry's the potential alternate?
Yes, yeah, I
Feel
did.
like
I
Mike
did.
Perry's just a fucking dog from South Florida, and
Hmm.
I would love to see him win or lose, just get that paycheck, man. Like I'm a huge Mike Perry's like Florida man crazy. He's out of his fucking mind, and I'm a huge fan of him. And he's got a chance. Like I feel like Jake's a little bit better of a boxer, but Perry's got a chance. He's not just gonna run through him. And like you said, that was a very valid point that I didn't think of, that they're close in age. He's not
Yeah,
fighting like Uncle Anderson Silva or Uncle Tyrone Woodley, who are like in their 40s. Like he's fighting another fucking low, like what's Mike Perry, like 30, 31, like somebody in their early 30s. Like that could be a competitive fight. And I would honestly much rather see, even though Fury's might, I don't even know anything about Fury's boxing skills, but I would love to see Mike Perry and Jake Paul fight.
look, just a family before you round up. Are there any family, friends, and sponsors and affiliates you want to give a shout out to?
Um, no, I mean cannabis. Wait, not cannabis. Sorry. Solace Hemp Oil Co. My boy, Manny Solace. He's been like my sponsor since my first pro fight. A very loyal friend. We're actually personal friends, and honestly, to all my sponsors of the past, like thank you guys for sponsoring me when you could, and whether it's financial difficulties or just the fact that I don't have a two fight skid, I get it. There's no hard feelings. Thank you guys for helping me out in the past. And yeah, that's about it, man. Just thank you to my family, my friends, my coaches, training partners, all that stuff, man. But that's about it, bro.
Joshua, once again, thank you so much for taking out some time to come on the show. I really appreciate it, and definitely we have to get you back on the show very soon.
Thank you, man. I'd like that. This was a great conversation.
Thank you, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, excuse me, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. I really would like that. It helps the channel grow. And also, you can catch an audio episode of this on the major platforms: Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Joshua, once again, thank you so much.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you, brother. Nice talking to you.
See ya.